On one unique occasion, I had the opportunity to visit the Crown and see where your Rolex is made. This Fresh Faces Special will take you on a journey through the Swiss watchmaking heartland, starting in Geneva and eventually ending up in Bienne, historically the main place for Rolex's movement development. Now, because the interwebs is so full of nonsense about Rolex, let's first start at the beginning. For as far as anyone knows, the Rolex doesn't mean anything. It just has a nice ring to it. It sounds good. The name wasn't conceived in Switzerland or even by a Swiss person. In fact, it was made up by a German orphan called Hans Wilsdorf while he worked in London in 1908. He came up with the name but didn't immediately start making watches. Mr. Wilsdorf soon found out he had to be in Switzerland to produce the watches he wanted. And in 1919 he moved to Geneva. And 1 year later he founded Rolex. And from this beginning his most important supplier was based in Bienne. It was called Egler. And please do remember that name, because these guys are really the technical masterminds that came up with some very famous Rolex inventions, such as the perpetual movement in 1931, the Datejust of 1945, the day date of 1965, the caliber 4130 and even the Parachrom hairspring of 2005. But I'm a little bit diffusing here, so let's first go to Geneva, where my journey began. Ever since Mr. Wilsdorf settled in Geneva, Rolex has called this place home. And quite literally, by the way, because rumor has it that Rolex owns a lot of real estate in this city. Although, obviously, they don't really say anything about this. Its main building is the landmark green tower called the Rolex World Headquarters. Now, this name might sound a little bit like it is conceived for some 70s James Bond movie. And to be honest, if you're inside, it actually feels as such. From the camera shutter-like roof in the Hans Wilsdorf Auditorium and the perfectly cleaned floors to the dizzying amount of secured doors, this building really signified what Rolex is all about. It was built in 1965 and at the time they said, it is not monumental, because it's for the future and not for the past. In fact, it was designed to really show what Rolex is all about. Precision, distinction and efficiency. Now when you're inside that building, it really does feel like some futuristic, a little bit secret and high-tech things are happening there. The headquarters is the place where the assembly, some renovations, servicing and a lot of the quality testing are done. And during my visit, one thing became abundantly clear to me. No company in the world does do as much quality testing as Rolex. Every movement is tested at the production site, then sent to COSC for chronometer certification, then disassembled and reassembled, tested again, put into the case, tested for water resistant, then tested again for at least 24 hours before sending it off to its eagerly awaiting owner. The Rolex World Headquarters is also the place where all the white-collar stuff happens, as well as some of the after-sales services. And there even is a secret storage with all kinds of historical Rolexes. And this is one of the most impressive things I've actually heard, because obviously I was not allowed in there. But when at some point in the tour someone asked, is it true that there was a Rolex GMT on the moon? The answer was yes. And then we said, well, show it. And they were like, maybe. And about half an hour later, on a tray appeared a Rolex GMT with a handwritten note by an astronaut saying this was indeed a Rolex on the moon. And I bet there are many, many more secrets in that building. However, the largest and what I think was the most impressive of all Rolex facilities is located a few kilometers away in the Plaine-les-Ouates suburb of Geneva. But this is for the next part. So please do stay tuned and definitely like, subscribe to hear more about Rolex's secrets.